Hello and welcome to this Unity training video on the level scene. This is video 2. I called up Unity just as we did before, and looking at it, let's try and get all the different panels in here. I have down here, I have my hierarchy panel. My hierarchy panel shows me what is actually in my current scene. So right now, the only thing that I have in my current scene, which is my current level, is the main camera, which you see right here. This panel, this window right here, is actually my editor window. This is what I use for editing and creating my level. And it's called the scene, right up here. This right here, this panel called the inspector panel, this gives me information about any object that I select inside my scene. For example, if I left click on the camera, I get information now about the camera. I get tons of information about it. Don't worry about that now. I also get what's called a camera preview window. This camera preview window is what the player would see if he were to play the game right now with what I have. And right now he'd see nothing, because the camera is looking at nothing. I have nothing else in my level. So one of the things about the camera is that the camera icon, no matter where the camera is pointing, the camera icon is always going to be pointing to the right. So no matter where this viewport is, it could be going up, it could be going to the left, or I could be zooming into the camera or zooming out of the camera. The camera icon will never change. It will always be the same. So this right here represents what the camera is looking at. If I want a fuller view of what the camera is looking at, I come up here to the top, and where it says game, this means this is what the scene will look like in the game, which again looks like just nothing. So if I come back here to the scene, and if I want to look at where the camera is located, notice that the camera, the X position is at 0. Let me zoom in a little bit better so you can see it. The X position is at 0. The Y position is at 1. And the Z position is at -10. This is the default coordinates for the camera when the game first comes up. Let's leave those alone for now, because I want to put a Unity built-in asset into my level. And to get a Unity built-in asset, it's not in the project panel, it's built in. I come here to game object, right up here at the top. Let me show you that. Bring that right up here. Come here to game object, and I left click on that, and I come over to create other. And if I come down here, you really can't see it until I move this down. Let me try it again. Game object, create other. I'm coming down here to cube. I'm going to left click on cube, and now there's the cube inside my editor window. As a matter of fact, it's right the same place as my camera. If I come down here in the hierarchy view, I now see a cube. So what if I want to see the cube through the camera, that is, I want the player to be able to see the cube. If I left click on the camera and look at what the camera sees, it doesn't see a cube. That's because they're both in the same location. So what I'm going to do is making sure that the main camera is unselected, and I'm going to select the cube. I'm going to leave the camera where it is, but I'm going to move the cube. And here's how I do that. If I come over here to the inspector panel and I look at the position of the cube, see, it tells me I'm looking at the cube, I see it's exactly the same as the camera. I could set these all to 0, but one way of doing that is coming right here to this little button, this little icon. Let me zoom in on this. Come this little icon right here and left click on it, and it says reset. You might not be able to see it. Let me bring this over here. It says reset. So I'm going to click on reset, and as soon as I click on reset, it has moved the cube to the 0 location of X, Y, and Z. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click on the camera, and now I can see the cube. Let me move this out of the way here so you can see it. Now the user, the player, will now see the cube. If I come over here now and click on Game, there it is. It's a little bit ugly, but the player can now see the cube. And let me come back here and click on Scene, and there I have my editor scene again. So just to review, the hierarchy panel shows me the assets that I currently have in the level I'm designing. The camera always points, the camera icon always points in the same direction. The inspector window here gives me information about the objects that I have selected inside my scene window. If I left click on the cube, I get information about the cube. If I come over here and I left click on the camera, I now get information about the main camera. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.